Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast. We are back for yet another conference preview, and today we are previewing the SoCon, the Southern Conference, a very strong mid-major conference, typically pretty decent. Forman's been a good team for a while. They finally broke through and got to the tournament last year, where they had one of the best games in round one. They defeated Virginia in the opening round. That was one of the best games of the tournament. And they lost San Diego State in the second round. The conference as a whole, they were ranked the 20th best conference in Ken Palm last year, and they are predicted at 17th this upcoming season. Kyle, what are your first thoughts on the SoCon?
I was I like this conference this year. It's funny, like most conferences we've done, I've been, I thought, a lot of the mid majors would get weaker this year. And I was wrong. I think a lot of these conferences are kind of exceeding my expectations as I go through previews. And the SoCon just falls under that list.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the all-conference members from last year, Mike Bothwell and Jalen Slauson both affirmed. They both exhausted their eligibility. Slauson selected in the NBA draft. Keyshawn Langley, he is back at UNC Greensboro. Logan Dye exhausted his eligibility. BJ Mack transferred to South Carolina. As did the first member on the second team, that is Stephen Clark. He also transferred to South Carolina. Quest Glover transferred to Kansas State, had a little stint at BYU, but is with the Wildcats now. Jake Stevens exhausts his eligibility, and Trey Jackson and Vontarius Woolbright, they are both back at Western Carolina. Moving to the third team, Jalen Haynes transferred to George Mason. His teammate Jordan King transferred to Richmond. Jalen McCreary is back at Mercer. Keandre Kennedy exhausts his eligibility, and Jermaine Marshall, he is back at Samford. So solid amount of returning pieces, but also lots of talent leaving the conference. Two new coaches. East Tennessee State, they hired Brooks Savage. I believe he was a Wake Forest assistant, working with Forbes, hiring from the Forbes tree again. ETSU has not been that good. They've gone through two coaches already. Savage will be the third since Steve Forbes left, so hopefully they get this one right. And Dwight Perry, he has been named to the full-time Wofford head coach, was on the interim basis last year after midway through the season. So he is their full-time head coach moving forward. So moving to all conference teams, Kyle, who is your SoCon player of the year?
Little Vontarius Woolbright.
I'd love to see it. That is my player of the year too. I love Vontarius Woolbright.
And it's SoCon's preseason player of the year.
Yes,
so
I
we're
saw
all
it
on
as
the
well.
same
I was disappointed that SoCon had him as well because I want to
I
be like
know.
higher on him than everyone else. He has elite passing vision for his size, good physical, kind of a wing shaped, not extremely efficient offensively, but I think that can definitely be improved.
Oh yeah. He's
And
got good size, so
really like his versatility. Like if he has a shot, he's an NBA player. Like if
for
he
sure.
adds like
No, I
shooting,
agree. He's going to
I'm
be
a
that
big
next
fan.
mid-major two-way guy with good size that gets
Mm,
looks. And there's been a lot of them in the past.
yes.
Like he's got some. I guess maybe we could say Tumani Kamara with once he gets a jump shot a little bit with the
Yeah,
defense.
the Wilbright's main selling point though is his passing. Like he is a point guard.
Okay, interesting.
Like he can really pass the ball.
It's
He
funny. I
averaged
only
like
watched Western Carolina once, and that was in the SoCon tournament. So I didn't really get to gauge a ton of what they had, but they were impressive when I watched them. They looked very good in that tournament, and my ranking of them is reflective of that. And I love their roster. So
yeah, I mean Wilbright averaged over 5 assists a game last year, so he was really dishing now. His good size in the wing, so yeah, big fan of what he brings. Another player I had on my first team was I don't know, can my doc pull back up? Yeah, JP McGeese for Furman. He's the next in line. He was really good last year. It's his team now. And I think he will be the best player on this team and a very good Furman team still, despite the players they lost.
I agree. He's on my first team as well.
Um,
My next member is Keyshawn Langley at
yep,
UNC Greensboro.
absolutely.
Really crazy athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely got some pro upside as well because you look at his athleticism. He's got great size, great defender. Not the best shooter, but he is a great slasher. And yeah, no, definitely have some pro upside. UNCG just always puts athletes on their teams, man. And he is just another one of those guards that can just jump out the gym. They had that guy a couple of years ago. What was his name? He's actually in the G League
Isaiah
now.
Miller. Isaiah
Yeah.
Miller.
He is following in his footsteps, it seems.
Okay. Let's see. Who else do you have? I just realized I only have four players on my second team, so I'm gonna need to make some quick adjustments here.
Go
But
ahead.
another guy I have is Jermaine Marshall. I really
Yeah, I
like
have
him
him
for
too.
he'll get
Yeah.
more touches in the front court. Was already an
And
all
then I
conference
have
player.
Jalen McCreary
Yeah,
of Mercer.
5 for
So we went 5
5.
for 5, huh?
Yeah,
There we
Mercer's
go.
not a great team, but he is a
Yeah, I
very
don't love them this year.
impactful player. Let's see. I'm trying to waste some time here. See what I want to put on my. Need one more player. All right. Who's one player on your second team?
Winston Hill of Citadel.
I have him as well. He was better than
I
Rayshawn Harrison when he was
Winston
healthy.
Hill follows me. He's followed me for a
Remember?
while.
Okay, but you know how like him and Ray Harrison were on those Presbyterian teams. He was a better player
Yes,
when he was healthy.
I
He
agree.
was
Winston
limited
Hill's a
to
beast, man.
he was limited to 7 games this past season. But like
This is a
if
Citadel
we
team
get
that I actually do like. But we will get into that.
oh yeah, I kind of like them.
No,
Like
I do.
I don't know if I'm wrong for saying that, but
I'm
I
high on
just like
PJ
them.
Smith Jr. as well of Furman. He is on my second team.
Okay. PJ Smith, yeah.
Um,
Definitely one of the transfers I like coming from D2 level. Not in my all conference teams, but definitely some guy I think could be an impactful player. I went with another different router. I chose Marcus Foster.
I have him too. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So pretty solid. Furman has very good backcourt there.
For
Great
sure.
players there. So another guy has Kwamari Peterson for East Tennessee State, John A. Logan product. Very good point
I
guard.
had him second team, moved him down to third team,
I
but
just had him in my third team, moved him up because I only had four players on
all
my
right. I
so
have Trey Jackson of West Carolina
yeah,
on my second
can
team
really
as
shoot the
well.
ball.
Yes. He can fill up the stat sheet. And then on my last guy, I have Makeel Brown Jones of UNC Greensboro. Senior
Had him
forward,
as
really
well.
physical. He's definitely you know what you're going to get out of UNC Greensboro. Great rim protection, great athletes, physical team. Yeah, they're not a fun team to play against, for sure. So yeah, my third team, I already mentioned Kwamari Patterson of East Tennessee State for John A. Logan, one of the best JUCOs in the country. Um, I have Maurice Wright of VMI, who I'm very high on,
Okay.
underclassman. I believe, yes, he is a freshman. VMI's roster is they have trouble getting talent in the building, but they do have some good underclassmen. They don't have a lot coming back per se. Obviously Jake Stevens from 2 years ago is the best talent they've probably ever had. So, um,
Amazing.
he was unbelievable there. That's really where he got on the map. Him and I like Corey Cotton this year too. Another really good
Yes,
freshman.
yes, yes, yes.
Those two guys I do really like. And
Okay.
Maurice Wright is my favorite of the two. He's a former 4-star recruit, actually. Um, yes, he averaged 25, 8, and 3. He was an all-state player in Palmdale, California. So he's 6'2", 165.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think he's going to get a lot of shots. So
Yeah. He will get a lot of shots. So once you get down to the third team, I have a lot of players that are like kind of role players that I'm trusting to like get into a bigger role.
I is
One of them
somebody
though,
you love.
one of them though is Honor Huff.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
was ultra efficient shooting the ball as a freshman. Did not get a waiver pass because of the in-conference transfer rule. But he
Mm-hmm.
is fully eligible to go now. He should be a very impactful player. Should have lighted up for Chattanooga in the backcourt.
I have another Chattanooga member, Jan Zedek of Pepperdine.
Okay.
Somebody I really liked 2 years ago. He just
Yeah.
lost a lot of minutes to Javon Porter's
Pretty
emergence.
skilled.
He could shoot it a bit, a very skilled player, I think,
Mm.
especially offensively. And I think he's going to get really good minutes here at Chattanooga. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, I
And
went with Demetrius Davis as well for Chattanooga in their front court. Just kind of chose him instead. I think when those players are going to have a big season. I personally think it's going to be Davis. Yeah. Who's another player do you have?
I have Jaden Parker at
Okay,
ETSU,
I like
someone
him.
who is really good in North Florida.
Hmm.
could really rebound, really efficient, very physical. I think ETSU is a little underrated. I don't hate them this year. They got
Yeah.
talent for sure.
Hmm.
In year one, I think they're going to be respectable, unlike the last couple of years. So he's and the last member, good old QMB of Citadel. I don't love QMB, but like he's gonna
He
get
was good in
assists.
the SEC. Like he
Uh,
wasn't bad in SEC.
yeah, no, I mean he filled his role well. He's a good passer for sure.
Hmm.
He plays some pretty good defense. Offensively, he's limited, but I mean, you know what he's gonna bring, and I think he's a pretty good player in this conference. So
Absolutely. I almost included him and I needed to add another player. The player that I did add was Garrett Heen for Furman.
I had him
I think
originally.
he's maybe the best player in their front core, obviously better backcourt oriented team, but he's still going to be very impactful. And then the other two
Mhm.
players I had Corey Tripp for Wofford. My reasoning for that is Wofford's going to need somebody to light it up. And I mean, he seems like your best candidate as of now.
Mhm.
And then the other guy I went with was AJ State and McCray for Samford. Solid player on the wing there that also should benefit from a Samford team that I really do like this upcoming
No,
season.
they're pretty good.
So yeah, I put him there. For top 10 transfers, you've already seen my top 10 transfer list that I posted the other day. Obviously, we will still go through them. Number one, no, I had Rylan Jones. Um, Rylan Jones isn't a guy that's gonna like light up the stat sheet. He's not gonna
That's
score
right.
like
He's in this conference. I forgot
he's
about
not
that. He's
gonna
at
score like
Samford.
yeah,
Yes.
he's not gonna score like 15 points per game, most likely. He's not gonna do all that stuff, but he's gonna be a really solid point guard, really solid passer, really good assist to turnover guy ratio. And I think, I mean, he showed scoring flash. He averaged like 90 game his freshman season at Utah. That scoring punch hasn't really been there the past 3 years, but if anything, the SoCon will give him another chance to revive that.
Possibly.
And
Yeah.
even though I don't think he's going to be like the highest profile transfer in this conference, I think he's going to get a job done. He's a winning point guard, and I think
He is.
he will really benefit this team just by being on it.
No, he's a positive for sure. Defensively, he's very iffy, though. I will say.
Yeah, but it's a
Um,
SoCon. That's another
that's
reason
true.
why, like,
Although the SoCon, I will say, is a conference that is usually very good offensively. They usually
yeah.
have very good offensive analytics. So, I mean,
But I mean, he played at
then
4 years
again,
at a much higher level than the
I
SoCon.
will say the SoCon doesn't play much defense, so he'll fit right in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so number one, I have PJ Smith Jr., somebody I'm really
Okay.
high
I
on
had him at
to the
6. I
D2
like him.
level. I really like him. Winston Hill, I have a 2.
I have
I
Winston at
think
2 as well.
he's a very good
We need him to be
prospect.
healthy. We need him to
We
be
do.
healthy because if he's healthy,
Um,
he's good.
if he's healthy, the Citadel is a team to watch out for in this conference. They
Absolutely.
have really good freshmen too, I think.
They have some there's some stuff building there.
Intriguing young talent there in the
Yeah.
Citadel. I have Jaden Parker at 3.
Okay. Number 3, I have Kamar Robertson, already a good player
Yes,
in this conference at Mercer. Should plug
he's
right
been
into
there
Western
forever.
Carolina's starting lineup. Very solid in conference ad.
So I have Tyler Millen of Chattanooga. I think he is in
Okay.
for a big season. I kind of liked him at Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
He's got the size. He's a good defender. He's a good downhill player. I think he's going to get more of a role this year. There was just so many good wings on Middle Tennessee over the years.
Yeah.
You think of TFL Leonard, you think of Eli Lawrence. He just never really had the opportunity to really shine over there. In the minutes, I do remember him playing. So I watched a good bit of Middle Tennessee over the last couple of years. Like he was a pretty productive player in his minutes, and he's a good defender. So I think the ceiling for him is very high. That's why I have him up here. Then I
Yes.
have Kamar Robertson at 5.
Okay.
Really solid starter.
4, I have Melora Brown. Very solid big man for the Citadel. Number 5, I have Dallas Graziani from Samford. He's a D2 point guard coming from Nova Southeastern, the D2
That's right. I
champs.
remember liking
Averaged like
him.
7 assists there, I think. Is 5'8", so really short player. But good facilitator. Good on defense on ball. At least he gets a lot of steals. And him and Jones just give you a great 1-2 point guard punch that I think is just really
They're going
elite
to
for
be
this
running this
conference.
year. They're going to be really running this year.
Yeah, those
That
two.
is interesting.
I do love me some buckyball.
So at number 6, I have Rylan Jones, and then at number
Okay,
7,
number
I have
6, I
Honor
had
Hall.
PJ Smith.
Okay. Yeah. Number 7, I have Honor Huff of Chattanooga.
Okay, I didn't include him because he was on the team last year,
That's true. He
but
technically was. Number 8, I have Cornelius Williams from
okay,
LSU. I think he's
okay.
somebody who will get some front court minutes. Really, I think he was a pretty high prospect at LSU as well. So
Yeah, he
decently,
was
like
committed to Murray State and then followed
that's
McMahon,
true.
so he wasn't like super highly regarded
That's
prospect,
where it can be
but he was
misleading.
like a really high prospect in Murray State standards.
So
So
definitely still good for this
good,
conference.
great, all of eligibility left. Number 7, I have Garrett Hicks, all conference reform in his SWAC with Alabama A&M. Should be another solid player at Samford. Good, can score from levels, wing. Number 8, I had Jaden Parker, good defender, good rim protector, efficient inside scorer. Let's see, who'd you have at number 9?
UNB. And then at number 10, I've Rudy Fitzgibbons in
Okay,
conference
he's a
transfer
good
coming
shooter.
from the Citadel. I think he really has upside. I've heard some really highly touted things about him recently. So, no, I think he can be really good. So,
Yeah, number 9, I have Ebi Asamoah, good shooter, good shooter. Should play
Delaware
the
legend.
solid Delaware
Forgot.
player.
I forget his
And
name.
number 10, I went with Caleb Hunter. I mean, he was really inefficient at Mississippi Valley State, but like he's very skilled. And now for Mercer, he'll actually be playing an actual system instead of just like rolling the balls out there and just like shooting, taking bad shots. I mean, he's a skilled player, over 1,000 points in his career, has shown the ability to be a solid distributor. And I think I think he can be a more efficient player when he gets better looks. I think Mercer also could be looking for a guy to step up and take that lead guard role. So I think he can be an actually productive player in his conference, despite playing on some bad teams before. But he definitely proven to produce at D1 level.
hmm
Yeah, moving to breakout players now.
I have a lot. This is the most I think I've ever had for a
I just went with
conference.
5, kept it nice and sweet. But you can just start listing them off, see if we have any overlap.
So I have Tyrese Watson of Wofford.
Okay, what didn't he
Somebody
redshirt last
who's,
year?
I
I
believe,
believe coming from JUCO
yes,
and then he
he
redshirted. But
was
yeah,
good at JUCO though. And
he was
Wofford,
pretty
this is
solid.
the lowest I have ever been on a Wofford team,
Absolutely,
maybe ever.
I second that. I second that.
It's crazy to speak this lowly of Wofford, but yeah, they've had trouble getting talent in the building, and keeping talent in the building is another problem. They lost Jay
Mm-hmm.
Pav, who's terrific.
Didn't like Carson McCorkle retire?
Oh, I do remember him now. Okay.
Like he was supposed to be on their team, but I think he just like retired mid off season, if
Interesting.
I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, this Wofford roster, rough. Tyrese Watson was at Gulf Coast 2 years ago, and he was
Yeah.
really good there. So yeah, 18 points a game, 47% shooting. Not an amazing 3-point shooter, 32%, but that can improve. I feel like he might be their best guy. Him and Corey Tripp, like that's really Quentin Meza. It was good. But he's your stereotypical Wofford 6-foot guard who probably just shoots a bunch of threes. So Misa's a good freshman for them as well. And they got what's his name from Southern Illinois, Kyler Filowich. He's
Oh yeah.
solid. But yeah, definitely like the lowest I've been on a Wofford roster ever. So
Yes. Going into some more of my breakout players, I have Jock Quinones from Mercer.
yes,
Solid player as
yes,
a
yes,
freshman.
yes.
Impacts game, multi-positional. I think could step up a little bit in year 2. So
I originally
I
had him on my third team. Actually, I was
okay.
gonna put him up there, but
Yeah.
a lot of good cards in this conference,
Another
honestly.
guy, another guy has Madison Durr for the Citadel. Citadel has some young stars in their backcourt. I think he could step up. He was probably the best out of them as a freshman, and I think he will continue to see increases, show the ability to facilitate a little, shooting a little bit, not exactly there, but I think he's going to have that potential. Was a decently regarded recruit coming out of high school, so I think that he will see a bigger year 2.
I have him, and I have Tyler. I have AJ Smith. I have
Yeah,
AJ Smith as
yeah,
well.
another rising sophomore guard in that backcourt.
So I have like multiple from a couple teams. I have
Okay,
Quinones, obviously.
yeah,
For ETSU, I have 3. I have DJ
okay,
Hughes, Butler transfer.
okay,
I
okay.
think he's gonna carve out a solid role. Um, I have let me open up my ETSU roster sheet right here.
I'll just go now because I have
Go
Donovan
ahead.
Atwell. I have Donovan Atwell for UNC Greensboro. I think he's
Okay.
going to start. Didn't play tons of freshman, but he was another guy that was pretty well thought of as a recruit.
I've heard
Put
of
up some
him.
decent numbers last year in limited minutes, so I think he can really expand into the starting lineup this year. Taking Keontae Kennedy's spot. I think he'll be a very solid player in this conference.
Yep. Ooh, I believe it was. Did I have? Yes, Justice Smith was the guy I have from Mansfield University at ETSU.
Okay. Okay.
Put up some good numbers last year, 7-3.
Yeah.
And yeah, he comes from again the PSAC D2
Mhm.
conference that we've
I
gone
don't think
over.
his team was good, but
Yeah, no, Mansfield's not one of the better teams in
he
that.
still put up some scoring numbers. He's
Yeah,
shown
he
the ability
20
to
and
put up
7 for
buckets.
sure.
Yes.
It is a good league against good teams, but he was on one of the bad teams for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
In that Mansfield isn't really thought of as one of the good ones, but anyway, and then did I put Jaden Seymour on here? No, I didn't. He's from Wichita. I don't know. I mean, he's pretty good though. Then I have Devin Butler as well. Devin Butler is a guard. Um, I don't think he's on this. Yeah.
Who's he on?
Yeah, I don't know why I have Devin Butler on here.
Who is
Interesting.
Devin Butler?
He's not on this roster, but he was on my list. I think he might be on UNCG or anyway, one of my UNCG breakouts. I have Jalen Breath, someone I think who can carve out a role. I have Milan Reith, San Diego legend. Um, I think he's going to get maybe some minutes. He actually was at San Diego 2 years ago, then went the JUCO route, and then he's going back to UNCG. So, I mean, he's going back to the D1 level. So, I always think
Yeah.
positively of guys who do that. It's guys that are being honest with their game, know what they need to work on, and he put up good efficiency splits at a pretty good. Let's see, I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah.
Jalen Breath, he was at Link Year. Milan Reith wants the South Plains. He's
Yeah.
originally from
South
Canada.
Plains, very good program.
Mm-hmm.
Their roster, like side note, but their roster, South Plains, like it's stacked this year. Let me just figure out some of the guys. They have guys that were
Gotcha.
like good in D1.
Okay.
Before I get to my other guys, but let's see if I can pull their 2023-24 roster up. They have Jalen Forrest, who averaged like 10 a game at Presbyterian.
Mm-hmm.
They got like Jalen Hampton from Northwestern State. He was like good there. Malik Ewan
Oh
from
wow.
Ole Miss committed to South Florida. They got I think
He was the big, right? Yeah.
I thought they got that guy from Fresno State, Joseph Hunter, who got kicked off the team, but he got arrested like twice this offseason. But
Hmm.
maybe he got kicked off of South Plains too. I don't know. I thought he was on the roster, but it doesn't look like he's on there here. And then some other guys you wouldn't recognize that have like been decently regarded recruits at times in their high school career. But yeah, so South Plains very good program. They also had like Chris Coleman who's going to UAB
Mm-hmm.
this last year. Chattanooga though, one guy I have breakout is Randy Brady. Very highly regarded recruit in high school. At one point, it was like I think he was in
4-star, I
like the
believe.
5-star range at one point. Obviously, fell down because he committed to Chattanooga, but still those high major offers and interest. Redshirted his freshman year, played a little bit last year, was okay when he played, and I think that now he's more developed and the program is his third year. I think he could really impact
I think
the Mobs.
Chattanooga, because of their super high ceiling guys and Millen and Brady, are the wild card of this conference.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
If those guys break out, like they're a top three team, like they always are. If they don't, I think they're in the 5 to 6 range, and
Okay,
but
okay.
that's how I kind of look at that.
Okay.
Then I Cornelius Williams, who I've already gone over.
My last guy was Alex Williams for Furman. Was good last year. Gonna
Okay,
start now likely due to Slauson leaving. I think he's gonna be a really impactful player in SoCon for maybe all conference potential there too for him.
okay, that's everyone for me.
All right. All freshman team. There were some decent freshmen in this conference. I will say that.
For sure.
One guy has Corey Cotton for VMI. I think he's going to be the VMI freshman is most featured right away. Very versatile, skilled, athletic. VMI is not going to be good at all, but I mean, I think he'll produce his fair share of numbers and probably transfer after this year. But
Yeah. So I've Cotton and Maurice Wright from VMI as my
yeah,
backcourt.
yeah.
And then I've Gabe Sisk of ETSU, who
Okay.
I love.
My
He is
ETSU guy, I went with Maki Johnson.
yes, he's good too. He's from
Both players,
Huntington Prep, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but both players pretty highly regarded. Both players at high major offers interest at one point. Not sure if they're going to see a ton of minutes right away, but both players definitely very skilled. Have the chance to earn minutes in this league.
Hmm.
Um, I have
Then Keenan
Keenan
Davis. Yep.
Davis.
I
Yep.
like it
Keenan
you.
Davis, Citadel. I think he's their best freshman. They have a lot of freshmen off the bench. I think he's the one that has a chance to do the best right away. Cornelius Williams.
Four for
It,
five. Wow.
yeah. And my last guy was Miles Che for Chattanooga.
Okay.
I
No, I
think
don't have him.
he has a chance to be pretty good right away. I think he was committed to South Florida previously. Should be a very solid player.
That's
So
everyone of
is that
mine.
all your
Yep.
five? All right, pretty solid. Like through all of our things, we had a lot of continuity. Let's see if that
Mhm.
sticks up through our conference standings. First team we're going to talk about is VMI. We better both have them last.
Yeah.
Um,
No, unfortunately.
VMI
Although I will
is
say, I think there is a
no.
world that they might be better than Wofford in, maybe because of those freshmen. Wofford doesn't have those breakout freshmen. Like, Wofford just has a bunch of just
Are these
random.
guys breakout freshmen or are they just going to play because VMI is so bad?
That is
Like that was
true.
kind of how it was
You gotta
last
have to
year.
know the
Like
difference, right?
VMI like only had freshmen last year. Like their
Yeah,
only guy that was like
that is
not a
true.
freshman in the starting lineup was Sean Conway. Like Asher Woods was a freshman, Tyler Hauser was a
That is
freshman, like
true.
Tony Felder was a freshman, Ricky Bradley was a freshman. Like they just didn't have guys at all
That
last
is
year.
true.
But
And it's kind of the same this year
I
looking
mean I
through
do
it.
think some of these freshmen can be good. Like
Yeah, I do.
Cotton, at the same time, like I don't
My
know
goodness.
how
Yeah, I'm looking at the okay, yeah. They're last, and that's why I did have them last.
yeah,
Okay. I had to
they were
remind
terrible
myself
last
how
year.
bad this roster is, and it's still all
They were
freshmen
bad last
again.
year. They were bad last year, and I don't really see a world where it like really gets better. Um,
I'm counting how many freshmen on this roster. I
One, two,
see
three,
11.
four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 in my scholarship chart.
Yeah.
3 of them are probably walk-ons. I don't know if
Yeah,
VMI does that because they're a military institute. I don't
that's
know
true.
how they do scholarship and stuff, but either way, they're terrible. It's hard to recruit to VMI though.
Yeah, it is.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gotta at least
feel for
respect
them.
their coach
Yeah,
for taking a job.
taking a
Like
job for sure.
VMI isn't a place where I'd want to coach, and I have a lot of
No.
respect for someone who tries to do it and he's doing about what he can. Like he's getting a talent, and they just want to leave because when they're good enough to go somewhere else, like
Hmm.
can't really do much about it. You can't really take transfers like that. I mean, it's
They've
at
had
least
some good ones
harder.
leave, like Sean Conway is at St. John's,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, Sean Conway was okay.
Yeah, he's not great, obviously, but the fact
But
that
yeah,
he's
like
getting talent to the Power Five levels is accomplishing for him.
I don't think Sean Conway was actually a Power Five
But
player.
I don't really. Yeah, I agree with
I'd put an asterisk on that one. But like their
Jake
whole freshman class
Stevens, of
was good last year,
course.
and then because they were good, everyone left because
That's right.
why would you want to be at VMI? So yeah, that's kind of problem they've been facing. Um, but I mean, I don't really see it changing this year at all. Next team is Citadel. I have the Citadel at sixth. I
I
think they
have
could
them at
be.
sixth too. Wow,
I think
that's
they could be good.
crazy.
I really like the front court. Winston Hill, if he's healthy, he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Malora Brown can
UND.
borderline start in SEC. I mean, he'll definitely be a solid player here. Good inside big man.
I think the
Good rebounder.
starting backcourt of Durr and Smith can be
Yeah.
nice too.
Elijah Morgan, solid returner, add some veteran experience to backcourt.
Yes.
And you obviously got like the
Keenan
incoming freshman Keenan
Davis.
Davis, got Christian Moore, Quinn Nielsen, Marcus Pigram, Levi Burkholz, Cam Roberts, like a bunch of freshmen that could see some time right away as well.
Colby Allister
Colby
solid too.
McAllister is another
McAllister.
returner. Could see some minutes. Tony Carpio, Mike Green. So yeah, Citadel, they have some talent. They have a lot of young talent. They have experienced talent in the backcourt, and I'm just kind of surprised we both had him so high because like normally like the Citadel ninth or
They're
10th,
last
they're not going to
every
be
year.
good. But like, I still know they're going to be. I still know they're actually going to finish sixth. But like, they have the potential. Like, talent, and youth, and they kind of
Hmm.
have a good foundation here. Like I think
Yeah,
this
and
team could be good.
if the top five wasn't so good, I put them higher, but they're pretty good. So like
And
I
also
can't
the
put them
bench is
above
very
that.
unproven,
Yeah.
but like
Although I think the
still,
bench has potential though. I'm not
like
gonna
with
say
the
they're
freshmen, yeah,
trash.
like some of these
Uh-huh.
freshmen can impact right away. Like obviously
100%.
Durr and Smith were impactful last year.
Hmm.
So yeah, obviously I lost a few really good players in Austin Nash and Stephen Clark, but I don't know. I still think this can be a pretty solid team.
Hmm.
I think Winston Hill is amazing.
Hmm. And he's a follower, so
Yeah, it bumps it up even higher.
that's right.
Um, yeah, next team is Mercer. I had them where they finished last year at eighth. Um,
Yeah, I had them eighth as well.
it's
Yeah.
not a bad team. McCreary's really good. Quinones obviously has breakout potential. Jalen Cobb coming back from injury after didn't play all last year, but he got some decent minutes at Fordham when he played there. Caleb Hunter obviously has a little bit of scoring potential in the backcourt as well. Michael Zanoni, returning player, should be in a starting lineup. Like Alex Holt coming over. Robbie Robbie Carmody has never been healthy in his.
Injury,
He has
man.
never been healthy in his college career, and I want him to be healthy and good
Feels
so
so
bad
bad.
because like he
Um,
was a good recruit. He's never even got a chance to play at Notre Dame.
and he had really good numbers in high school. Like he was a highly
Mm.
touted guy. He just never could stay on the floor.
He's been through it all injury wise, so hopefully he's healthy.
Him and Jelani
That
Williams, man, just can't
Yeah,
catch any
Johnny Williams
breaks.
has been good now. No.
Jelani Williams from Howard. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's
that's
put
true.
together a few healthy
He
years.
has, he has. So yeah, this guy has not had any.
No,
It's
Carmody
crazy.
Carmody is still waiting on that. But yeah, I think this team could be like okay, but I don't think they're really improved from
Nah,
last year.
yeah,
I don't think
I
they're
can't
worse than
put
last
them
year,
over anyone else
but I don't
over.
think they're better than last year. Next team is Chattanooga. I had them where they were last year too. I had them seventh. I think
Ooh,
there's definitely some potential to
I
have
have them
them
fifth.
improved.
I have them
I
fifth.
think you can have breakouts from Sam Alexis, Randy Brady. Getting on or off eligible is big, but the thing is, Trey Bonham won't be eligible. If they had him
Nah,
eligible,
he
that would
won't.
change some things. He would be my
100%.
number one transfer in the conference. I think
He would be.
there was a point where he was like really good at Florida. He lost playing time towards the end of the season, but he is still a very good player.
Hmm.
That would change the outlook a lot if they had him. I mean, Fitzgibbons is a solid player. He's a solid shooting option. Jan Zidek, skilled big man.
I'm
Just
counting on
didn't
the
really do
breakout of
much.
those two guys to kind of propel them over.
Yeah, I do like Millen.
Um,
Like they have a lot of breakout potential. Demetrius Davis is, I mean, a guy I'd on my all conference team, but like good freshman class too. Miles Che, Noah Melson are guys that should impact the game right away. But overall, like the top end talent, like
yeah, I
it's
agree.
could be there,
It's a
but
little
it's not.
suspect.
Yeah,
Um,
like you're counting on a lot of things for this team to be good.
for for a team that I'm competing them with, I'm also counting on a lot of things, and they have a first year head coach, so I'm a little suspect with that. Although ETSU is very talented, they are, but we'll get into that because I know where you're going to have them. Where I have Chattanooga, so
Yes.
I would assume.
Speaking about good coaches, though, I do like Dan Earl.
Yes, that is
He
why I
was
kind
better at
of gave
VMI
him the
and
edge.
like to get what he did at VMI was pretty spectacular. But this roster I don't know about. I don't know. Jake Stevens was so good. Like you saw when he was
Yes,
hurt,
man.
they would just go downhill. And
He
that was
won
with
me
talent
my
around him.
college basketball fantasy league just by just putting
He
up
was
double doubles every
amazing.
game.
He
It was
was he
amazing.
was so skilled. Like he could have played the highest five majors if he didn't want to follow Earl.
He's with the Kings now. Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure
he's
he is. He's extremely
got a two
long,
way. Yeah.
pretty slow, but elite shooter, elite passer for a big man. Can really score, rebound, do everything. They also lost Jamal Johnson, Dalvin White, solid players too. So I don't really see his team improving, honestly. But
No,
I
I can
still
agree.
see the potential for a lot of breakouts in this team for sure. Um, Next team, East Tennessee State. I have them at fifth.
Yeah, no, that's all I was saying. I have them at seventh.
Okay.
I think the
Um,
first year head coach, I think Chattanooga's coach is much more proven. He's good.
yeah,
I give Chatty the
I like
edge
Steve Forbes
there.
though, so I like Savage now because Steve Forbes is a good coach.
He is. He is.
Um,
That's true.
can really get the most out of his players. Hopefully, we get some of that
TSU is
from
very talented. There's no doubt about it.
Peterson. Should be a very did Peterson play Indiana State before? I feel like
hmm,
that is a thing that there's a non-zero chance it happened. And then he went JUCO. Am I just making? Yeah, he played at Indiana State. Didn't really play there. Like he was on the team now. But yeah, he's come from JUCO ranks. Was one of the best JUCO players in the country last year. Put up some big numbers on John A. Logan next to Kurt Lewis. Obviously, Kurt Lewis was the NJCAA Player of the Year. Peterson, very solid point guard in his own right. Justice Smith could shown the ability to really score the ball before. Jaden Seymour, Jaden Parker, very strong front court there. Ebby Asamoah can really shoot the ball.
got Gabe Sisk from Louisville,
DJ
Kentucky.
Hughes maybe breaks out. Yeah, Sisk Johnson, I think it's a very solid freshman duo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Alan Struthers, Jamari Hairston, Tyler Rice, solid backup guards to have. Kron Broyd, Braden Illick from backup forwards. Pretty solid team overall, I think. Jaden Parker's a very good rim protector. Very good.
No, I love their front court.
Very
What I will
athletic
say
big
is
man there.
top end talent with this team as well. I love
Yeah,
Kamari Peterson. I
I would say
do.
it as well.
But then next to Kamari Peterson, who is your running backcourt mate? Like that's where the two guard. Or if you
Ebby,
want to run,
he can
Ebby's
shoot.
very limited offensively. He's a great defender though.
Yeah, I
That
mean
is
he
his
can
best
three and
attribute.
D guy.
Yeah. Um,
You can
he had
live
his
with
ups
that.
and downs offensively at Delaware though,
Yeah,
very
I can get with
bipolar.
that.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I guess he is gonna start, obviously.
yeah, you probably
But
think he
yeah,
would.
no, I do worry about their backcourt more than I do their front court. Um,
Yeah, definitely a team that has a little bit
they're
potential though at
intriguing.
least. Next
Yes,
team Wofford. I have them in ninth. This team is
I have them
bad.
in ninth. They're not good.
They
No,
made I mean they made a few additions off season. They got Dylan Bailey from Northeastern State at D2. Put up solid numbers there. That addition does not move me. Neither
no,
does Chase Cormier, who could be a breakout player coming from
he's from
Northeastern.
Northeastern. Yeah, I don't
Could be
know.
good in a few years. Not really trusting that he's going to be like the guy right now. I mean, I
The
just kind of
guys
put
I like are
Corey Tripp,
Jackson
my
Civils is
yeah,
solid.
Kyler
Cormier
Filowitz, Corey
solid.
Tripp, like who else? There's
Quentin
this roster.
Meza. Quentin Meza is a good freshman. But again,
Yeah, I
I think
guess.
he's going to be your prototypical Wofford guard that shoots a lot of threes. He put up a lot of good numbers. So, I mean, look, normally I wouldn't be hyping up 6 foot, 170 pound freshmen, that are just shooters. But, Wofford has a really good track record with guys like that. So,
Yes, they do.
um,
Storm Murphy.
right. And then they had McGee as well. So,
Yeah, McGee is more of a catch and shoot, like off the
yeah,
ball guy.
sure.
Storm Murphy reminds me more like of a how you were describing
Yeah,
Meza.
that's true.
But yeah,
But
like
yeah, no, like
nothing on this team excites me. Like
Don Douglas,
they need a
Jeremy
breakout guy. Do they even
Lorenzen
really
or
have any like big
Lorenz.
breakout candidates?
No, they don't.
Like
I agree with that. Taurease
like
Watson's the only guy that I could really say is a
yeah,
breakout.
even him
Who was really good two
he
years
played at
ago.
JUCO and didn't play at all last year. Like I mean, obviously he was
Right.
hurt or whatever, but like
I thought he got hurt. Yeah. So there's at least
think
an
so.
excuse there.
Phil Butch is an efficient inside big man, but I mean, like he's only so good. He could actually expand if he plays like he could score like 13 points a game. I think.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah,
Tripp
no, this
breaks
team's
out a
gonna
little
be
bit.
interesting.
But I mean, Tripp has never been like a high point scorer guy. I think he's gonna have to be that guy, which I don't know how that'll go down.
Mm,
Cormier could be good, but like I don't know, not right now.
right.
Dylan Bailey could show some flashes. Good shooter, scored over 15 points a game at D2, but again, not that something that like incredibly moves me.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny. And these are schools I used to hate. I used to hate Wofford, man. Oh no, they were one of the mid majors I used to not like because they would just cheese from the 3 point line. Them and Davidson are like my two prototypical, white shooting schools that I hate. That and they both suck now. It's tough.
Yeah. Next team, Western Carolina. I have the Catamounts sitting at third.
Oh man, I have them at first. Yes.
Really, really.
I knew we would
I want to go all the way there, but
disagree.
I like this team. Like they're going to be fun. Trey Jackson, Vontaris Woolbright, and Kamar Robertson, instant plug and play transfer. Russell Jones, solid point guard returning. I mean, I guess he's kind of just a guard there with Woolbright kind of doing most of the ball handling duties.
Mm.
You obviously got Williams coming in, maybe can play some minutes down low right away. If he doesn't, maybe Bernard Plote can kind of fill those minutes. Maybe Charles Lampton, college Charleston transfer, didn't play there. Maybe he can also play some minutes there. DJ Campbell, solid backup guard. Brandon
Amari
Scott.
Jones is an intriguing freshman as well from Hillcrest, 13-3.
Okay, I don't have my roster, but yeah.
Charles Lampton as well.
Yeah, Brandon Scott,
Grad.
JUCO transfer. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Colin Granger, backup forward. So, like, overall, like, this team is very talented. The starting lineup is very talented, especially Wilbright. Trey Jackson can really fill it up, can really shoot the ball. Former Iowa State transfer
The
can really
reason
shoot
I
the ball
like this
there.
team more than Furman is top end talent. I think they have the best top end
Okay.
talent in the league, and I don't
I
really
could
think
get
that's
behind
all
that.
that debatable.
I could get behind that.
Pegues is solid. I do have him on my first team, but I do need to see him to be a number one option in this conference. He hasn't,
I think he will
been
be. I think
there.
he'll be fine.
Guys like Pegues, Foster's good. I do like Marcus Foster.
I just like everything Wilbright brings. Like, he is elite.
He is a good coach for sure.
Wilbright. I was talking about Wilbright, but
Okay.
anyway. Yeah, I think their coach is pretty solid too.
Yeah, and I do like this team's front court a little more too. Cornelius Williams, guys that are really
He's
physical.
unproven, but like if you consider Wilbright part of front court, then I mean I guess
Mm-hmm.
he's elite too. Solid backup bigs. So yeah, I think it's a very talented team. I'm not willing to put him in first yet, but like I would love to see Vontaris Wilbright play in the tournament.
I would too. And I
People
think
will
this
learn his
is the
name.
year.
People would learn his name. I hope it's here. Next team, UNC Greensboro. I had him fourth.
I do too.
It
I have
almost
them
feels like I'm
fourth
kind
too.
of doing them a disservice because I feel like they should be like second, but like it's nothing
Yeah,
against him. I honestly like
SoCon preseason has them second.
the top four are clearly separated from number five. I think like between
Yeah,
UNCG and ETSU is a big gap for me.
yeah,
I
I
think this
agree.
is clearly in the top tier teams, but I don't know. Like there's no reason that I didn't have them like second. I just decide
There
to go
are
with the
some
other teams.
flaws, I would say,
Yeah, I
and
mean, this was a very
reasons
good
I
team
do
last year, though. Like
prefer.
they have
Yes,
most back. Like
I will say I'm not the biggest McKeel Brown Jones guy. I think he's a little. I mean,
I
he's
think
good. He's
he
good
gives a
around
lot
the
of
rim,
athleticism
and
at the
he is.
forward. Tim Caesar, maybe a guy that could contribute right away at the
Yeah,
five. Jalen Gibson, I don't think he'll be eligible coming from D2 level, but formerly played at NC State. Mason So is a freshman that could see some minutes right
yeah. The
away.
reason I don't have this team high is shooting. You know what? There you go. 3 point shooting, I think, is going to be an issue for this team. They've been an interior team for a while now. Like that's UNCG. They want to drive, they want to rebound. They're just not the 3 point shooting
Langley can
team.
shoot it. Langley
He
can really
can.
shoot it. He
He
can really shoot
can.
it. He can really shoot it.
But that's it.
But Kennedy could also really shoot, and he's gone.
Yeah, like besides him, like who is really shooting the ball? And
Maybe
that
Donovan
did stand
Atwell.
out. Yeah, okay.
Donovan Atwell. He was a shooter. I mean, he didn't play a ton last year, but he took 68 threes and 8 twos. So he's a
Mm-hmm.
shooter. He's a shooter. I think we get a huge breakout year from him now. Like, I'm extremely high on Donovan Atwell. I think
Okay.
he crashed the rotation. I think he crashed starting lineup. I think he could be like really the future of this program.
Yeah, wow. Langley really improved his shooting splits last year. It's just
Yeah.
funny. He was a 37% shooter from the field, 32% shooter 2 years ago. He increased that to 44% from the field and 42% from three, both career high marks.
Okay.
That's
Pretty
good
solid considering the
stuff.
volume he's taking, obviously mostly
Right.
threes.
No, so I know he used to not really be considered a shooter. But last year he definitely changed that narrative, like you said. Give him credit there. Donovan Atwell, yes, I remember him from somewhere. He is a shooter for sure.
Yes, he is a shooter. Good high school prospect.
Mhm.
Obviously you got Kobe Langley too, more of a pure point guard.
Defender. He's a really good
Yes,
defender.
gets a lot of steals for sure.
This team will be great defensively. They also got Joriam Sayenzu from St. Bonaventure. So,
Yes,
he's
the
probably pretty
appeal
good
of
at
this team is
defense
definitely
too.
on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do lose some good defenders. Like Boss Lede was a pretty solid
Yes.
defender. Mohammed
He was at
Abdul
Clemson now.
Salam, good defender. Yeah, that was like that was a classic. Like let's just take a random backup forward,
This is true.
because we can. Um,
He's good
but
for
yeah,
that though. Or at least
Brown
I think
Jones, good
so.
defender. Kenny was a good defender too. But I think that focus of the team should still be a defense.
And rebounding. Yeah. He'll
Yeah,
be good on the
Tim
glass.
Caesar should be a solid plug and play guy. Backup big at Utah Valley should get a
Can
bigger
shoot it a
role.
little.
Yeah. Not a ton in this bench, honestly.
No.
Mason So is a guy, freshman point guard. Might be looking to see something out of. Jalen White missed all of last year. Could do some a little bit. Obviously, one Reith
This
coming
is a
from.
team like you know what you're gonna get out of, but like it's hard for them to exceed their ceiling. And to
Yeah.
really raise their ceiling. I think the ceilings of the top three teams are higher than UNCG's for sure.
Okay.
That's kind of why definitely. Besides Atwell, I don't see a ton of breakout here.
Okay.
Either. So
Yeah. Next team, Samford. Though I had him second.
I have them third. Yeah, I have them
Yeah,
third.
I really like this team as well. Jermaine Marshall is a guy I really like. AJ Stat McCray coming back with him, form a good starting forward. Stan McCray more of a wing, but both players very solid returns. Rylan Jones, as I mentioned, plug and play point guard. Dallas Graziani, also a guy. I'm interested to see if those guys start together. It'd be an interesting concept, but also both of them are like good enough to be starters on this team. Um, I don't know if you want two small point guards starting, but
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the thing with Samford. Like they've
but
just been
Garrett Hicks could also start and
so
make it just fine.
Samford has been so bad defensively over the years. Like they need to start getting better at that end. Like it's the reason they didn't make the tournament. Like they need to like I get that the whole cute little 5'8" two guard starting, but like you need
Okay.
to actually
I bet well they started Quez Glover and Bubba Parham last year.
yeah.
So
And
I think
and
they
guess
might. I
what?
think they might. But those guys are both like bucket getters. These guys are mostly like pure point guards.
Yeah,
So
and
I
they
don't know what
still
they're gonna
suck
do.
defensively. That's the thing. I mean, Sanford's still gonna be
Graziani can
giving
get some
up.
steals though. He'll rack up some steals. He might not be able to
Yeah.
post up anyone, but like he can. He'll be good in there. Zach Loveday, maybe
Yeah, okay.
I
I like
don't know.
Zach
Like
Love
I
Day.
don't know if I'm in on Zach Loveday, but like there's potential at least. Jaden Campbell, very solid backup guard. Obviously, Garrett Hicks already mentioned could start, could come off the bench if they decide to go with a 2 point guard look. I actually do like the 2 point guard look in general, like not necessarily with this team, but like having 2 point guards on the floor at the same
Yeah,
time is something I do
you've
like.
always liked that. I remember you
Like
talked about that on some other podcast.
I do like the 2 point guard look in
I am not a
general.
fan of that actually. But for
It depends
reasons,
who they are. Um,
here's the thing. You need, like a pure point guard paired next to a shot creating point guard. You need a point guard who's comfortable at getting their own buckets, and then you need a point guard that can really facilitate for others. I think they need to just have opposite skill sets. If you're getting two pure point guards and putting them out there, like no one's gonna want to score.
yeah, not like
um,
pure point guards,
yeah, exactly.
but
But
um,
I get what you're
but
saying
But I
though.
feel like a lot of the national champions have had like recently have had like 2 point guards. Like, um, obviously, UConn had a few guys that let's see, like they had like
I
Andre
think
Jackson,
Tristan
kind of
Newton is a
Tristan
bit of a pure
Newton.
point guard. Yeah.
Yeah, Andre Jackson was also kind of did whatever. I mean
Pure point forward.
that
He's
wasn't
a
the
point
most
forward.
traditional
Yeah.
2 point guard. Like I know Baylor had all those guards. those Villanova teams both had like a few guys out there on the floor who could do something like that.
Archidiakono and
Like
Brunson.
Brunson, yeah. Um,
Definitely.
so yeah. So basically Sanford's gonna win the national championship under Dallas
Hmm.
Graziani and Rylan Jones. That's her conclusion. But yeah, I like Bucky McMillan. I'm big fan of Bucky Ball. At core, Nathan Johnson, Riley Allen Spash, maybe a big man freshman that could see some minutes right away. Yeah. Overall, very
Why does Bucky look like the Bucky from Captain America or whatever? Oh my gosh. Or maybe,
Bucky.
come on, maybe I'm just complete. There is some resemblance.
Maybe, maybe. Not totally disresemblance. Last team Firmino. Obviously, I have him first. You have him second, I believe.
Yes. Do it for a second.
I think they're gonna go back to back. Losing, they lost some huge pieces, obviously. Bothwell and Slauson were both amazing players that did not really belong in the SoCon. But like
Professionals, they're pro
Bob
players.
Ritchie's a great coach.
He
He
is
finally broke through. I'm glad because they had so long.
choking.
Furman had been right there. David Jean Baptiste hits that crazy shot. Like they just could not
Go.
escape the curse, but then they finally made it, and they finally showed they deserved to make it all those years. They beat Virginia.
I always love, anyone who beats Virginia. So,
Yes, Bob
that's
Richardson. Less I have to watch junior basketball play in a tournament, the better. But
yes.
yeah, Furman, Bob Richardson's a phenomenal coach. Pegues, I think, can be that guy. Like,
So Carter Whip, Player of the Year.
he's terrible. I mean, with all due respect to Carter Whit, he has not been an effective college basketball player. He was bad at Wake Forest and went to Furman and like maybe he's kind of good there.
Right.
And
He doesn't even
he's
play.
not. He's inefficient. Let me pull up his shooting splits just so I can make sure I'm not just hating on him for nothing. And he actually is a negative impactful player offensively. Hopefully he's not listening to the podcast. That would be a tough episode to listen to. I am predicting his team to win though.
And 25% 3-point shooter.
Shot 37.5% true shooting percentage. And that was like around when spent his whole career. Like I cannot defend that at all. I mean, he's a good passer, but he also turns it over way more than he way more than he gets assists. Like, I don't know. He was supposed to be a good. That's why you don't reclass. Don't reclass. He reclassed, and look what happened. He is.
Anyway, let's get to the good parts of this roster. Davis Molnar is someone I'm very high on. Molnar got 18 and 11.
Redshirt freshman.
6'6", really good on the boards.
Obviously the focus of the team is the front court, the back court, but I think the front court has very solid pieces. Alex Williams, Garrett Heen,
I'm low key going into
Ben Vanderbilt,
Cooper Bowser as well
Tyrese
from Sunrise
Huey.
Christian.
Yep, freshman could see a little bit of minutes right away. And obviously Pegues, Smith. Smith is very versatile, can handle the ball, can really shoot. Should be a great duo next to Pegues. Obviously, have Foster as well, played good last year, double-digit score on that top 100 team that Furman assembled last year. So I think
Tommy Humphreys is solid too. Yeah,
being another incoming freshman. I think this is collectively the best team in the conference. Honestly, I think
I disagree, but
they've proven they can be there. Though, like they've proven it.
I will say they proved it with two professional players being their two best guys.
I mean, as much as I love Western Carolina, they didn't really prove last year with most of the same pieces they still have, and they lost a player to high major level too.
I mean, Western Carolina's not really been relevant ever before last year. I mean, Furman's been relevant for a long time, and they've choked for a long time. So.
But they don't Furman was so much better in Western Carolina last year. I mean, obviously I lost the players, but Western Carolina was 236. I think they will take a significant jump, but at some point,
I think Ken Palm is also disrespecting them. I don't think they were that bad, but Western Carolina is playing good basketball. I think they were definitely better than that, but they were up and down last year, and I think that changes. I don't know.
I definitely see them as a contender, but I just like Furman too much. I know that they definitely have the
There's
highest
a coaching
floor.
edge. There's a coaching edge for
Furman
sure.
has an incredibly high floor.
They do. Yeah, Furman's not gonna be lower than second.
Well,
No.
the top four is so good
It is though.
that like if they're like four and like 4 games ahead of fifth place, like that could be a thing that there's a non-zero chance of happening.
Yeah. Could I see like UNCG hurdling them at 4 now? Like I can
But like any of these four teams could win the conference,
they
like
could in
Furman,
theory. I
UNCG,
get that.
Western Carolina, Samford, like they could, like there's a world where that happens. Definitely a four group above the rest. I think like
I
don't think
agree.
there's any other way you could put it. I don't think any other serious teams have a shot. I don't think any of these four teams really will fall back. Maybe Western Carolina because they're just like so they have a high floor, low ceiling. But I think they will firmly establish themselves in that top four group. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, any more notes in the SoCon? This was a fun preview.
Mm-hmm. Western Carolina lost that like double overtime game too in the SoCon tournament too. So again, set up
Yes.
the revenge arc, just like Furman got the revenge arc in the SoCon after losing on that buzzer beater. Set it
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yep.
Storylines are always the thing in college basketball. If there's anything you learn,
Absolutely. Yeah, but let's see. What conference do we want to do next? Let me look at this conference preview sheet I've assembled. Um, let's see. What do we want to
is
do
it
next?
time to do the Big East?
Maybe. Um, yeah, I think it's time to do the Big East.
Oh,
I mean I know you're a big East guy, obviously having
oh.
Villanova
I will
connections,
bring
St.
out the
John's
Big East
connections.
tournament hat. I'll bring
All right.
out some merch for sure. Big East is Big East made me fall in love with basketball. No doubt about it. First conference I ever
It will make many
watched.
people fall in love with basketball again this
Um,
season.
it really will, man. I gotta be back at the tournament. Yeah, it's just gonna be historic year for the Big East. No doubt. Definitely gonna be back on the caliber, I think, of the old Big East. Maybe not as deep, but top heavy.
Incredibly, I mean, it's incredibly top heavy and it's incredibly good to top too. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like one or two teams. Like the whole like top
Right.
half is incredibly
Man,
strong.
I will say, why did Zach Fremantle have to get hurt?
And Jerome Hunter,
Oh.
that disappoints me because Xavier was going to be like
Me
my
and you were so high on
no
Xavier.
Xavier was going to be like the sneaky team that was
They
unranked and like
were.
shot up the rankings and were top 10 before you knew it, but not anymore.
Because I love their Conference USA guys too.
Anyway
Hmm.
though, especially the guards, Usman is he's a big guy.
Solid.
He's not gonna disinfect. But yeah, we'll discuss all in next podcast, the Big East preview pod coming up next whenever that happens. Probably the next day after you're watching this, maybe the same day. We're cranking these previews out. I think we're gonna hit all of them. I think we're gonna get them all in. We're a little behind on days, but we've been rolling through in the past few days. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go follow our social media. It's at Hoop Scoop Media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. Really grown on YouTube. Really have a lot of plans for the season.
Okay.
On all social media platforms. Make sure you stay tuned to those. Yeah. And anything else before we send this one out? Yeah. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, make sure to give us a 5-star review. And also know that we are on YouTube as well. In case you want to see us and feel like you're part of the conversation
If we
with
weren't
us.
grinding out podcasts, you could get this YouTube Shorts thing going, but just haven't
Yeah,
had time.
we'll
Or
do some stuff in the season.
TikTok. Yeah. We'll
We'll
get
have
some
more
of the,
time.
you know what we'll do is when teams do good, we'll pull up the receipts from the podcast and post them.
Mm.
You got
I
to be
saw that
petty.
Texas like was kind of battling it out with the D2 team night. They ended up pulling away and winning by like 20 plus, but Louisville did not. Louisville lost. You
Louisville
didn't
lost
did you
today.
not know that? Have
No,
you not been following
I
news?
was at
Yeah.
work
Oh yeah, they lost. Well, like just now. Like
just
just an hour,
now.
just like an hour, just like two, like before we hopped on the podcast,
I
like
was in
maybe 30 minutes.
podcast mode. I was literally in my
Uh
notes, just typing
well,
away. It's so
you
contrary.
missed Louisville lose to Kentucky Wesleyan.
Oh gosh, aren't they decent D2?
They're okay. They played
Yeah, I'm
St.
about
Louis
to say.
close last week. They were also ranked 8th in their preseason conference poll. So nothing great, nothing terrible. I mean,
Oh
middle of the
gosh.
pack D2 team, I guess. They have a few D1 players who like didn't really play their D1.
Yeah, any pain experience.
Yeah, it's not going to change. It doesn't matter who's on the roster. He's a terrible coach. Like he didn't need.
What if Kenny Payne's watching the episode?
No, I should. I don't know. Tell him to look for
What's up, Kenny?
check his local job listings because he will need to look. Do you think he's going to make it through the season? Like he's obviously not going to make it past season. It would take a miracle for him to make it past season based on what we've seen the past few games here. But like, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it through the season? Is he going to make it to Christmas?
My bet is no. I have yet to see their non-conference slate, but if it's even decent, they're going to have some bad losses, and they're going to be in a rude awakening if they play some even decent mid-majors, which I'm not even sure they do. You know what? Do you want to look at Louisville's non-conference real quick before we get off the air?
Yeah. So
let's see if there's some
SoCon podcast. I wonder if they play any SoCon teams. That'd be nice to have it tie in if they did.
That's true. It would be a nice tie-in.
Let's see. Louisville. They played Chattanooga, second game of the season. They do play a SoCon team.
And that's a loss. Right.
They're probably going to beat UMBC opening night. UMBC doesn't.
They'll beat UMBC.
They'll beat Coppin State. Probably beat Chattanooga. Although
if they lose to Coppin State, you need to fire him immediately.
Coppin State might be the worst team in basketball this year.
They play Texas.
They're going to get crushed by Texas. Even though I don't like Texas, like I don't like Texas.
I'll be rooting for Louisville. Don't worry.
Me not liking Texas is more me having Texas like top 35 instead of top like 15. I think they're still a good team and team in a vacuum. So they're going to lose to DePaul. They're going to lose to Virginia Tech.
New Mexico State is a loss. Yeah, that's a loss.
Maybe they're going to lose to Bellarmine again.
Pepperdine.
They're going to lose to Arkansas. They're going to lose to Arkansas State. They're going to lose to Arkansas State. They're going to lose to Arkansas State. They're going to lose to Pepperdine. Pepperdine's kind of facing the same problem of underachieving with talent, but I don't know. Pepperdine might actually have more talent, so I might just be better in Louisville. You're going to lose to Kentucky. They're going to lose all their games in ACC play. They're going to be terrible. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. They're going to be so bad again.
No, yeah, I don't see any wins here.
Yeah, Big East preview next. We will have a fun time on the Big East preview. Obviously, both have lots of connections to the Big East. We cannot wait for that. So we will get prepping right now and get off the air for you to you to get prepared for that. You also need to get prepared for that. So yeah, we will see you for the Big East preview pod up next.